Watching top NHL talents having poor playoff performances is always tricky to navigate. Do you label the NHLer as someone who doesn't have that extra gear they need to win in the playoffs? Or do you keep faith in their regular season abilities and hope they're able to get over that playoff hump? Regular season success is obviously so important, but once you enter the postseason, all those highlights from the regular season mean nothing. It's a clean slate and anything could happen, so you better bring your A game. Unfortunately, this past 2023 playoffs, we had more than a few players drop the ball when it mattered most. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 6 most disappointing NHL players of 2023. Artemi Panarin, the New York Rangers. Artemi Panarin's $11.642 million cap hit is the second highest in the NHL this past season. He is expected to be a game-changing superstar capable of carrying his team on his shoulders. Although Panarin has performed at an exceptional level during the regular season, he has developed a concerning pattern of falling short in the playoffs. In the 2019-2020 regular season, the 31-year-old winger amassed an impressive 95 points in 69 games, positioning himself as a Hart Trophy contender. However, during the bubble playoffs, he managed only 2 points in 3 games as the Rangers were swept by the Hurricanes. During New York's run to the Eastern Conference Final, Panarin recorded 16 points in 20 games, which I'll give you that it may seem decent at first glance. The issue lies in his impact during even strength play, with only 7 of those points coming in 5-on-5 situations, ranking him 6th among the Rangers forwards. In this past 2022-23 season, despite another strong performance with 92 points, Panarin struggled in the 7-game series against the Devils, registering 0 goals and 2 assists. He became one of the most ineffective players on the Rangers roster during that matchup, failing to contribute significantly despite his high salary. Notably, he had 0 primary points at 5-on-5, a stat that only Tyler Motte and Alexis Lafreniere shared. This underwhelming performance was not a result of bad luck. Panarin struggled to drive the play, controlling a mere 32.1% of expected goals, the second worst among the Rangers forwards in round 1. There is definitely a need to address the situation, and the Rangers need to do something to help Panarin perform better in the playoffs. They cannot afford to have such a highly paid player consistently disappear when it matters most. Kirill Kaprizov, the Minnesota Wild. Kirill Kaprizov is the linchpin of the Wild's offensive game, showcasing remarkable skills even without a true top-tier center to support him. Unfortunately, during the first-round matchup against the Dallas Stars, Kaprizov managed only 1 goal and 0 assists. In the last 5 games of the series, he failed to contribute any points. The combination of his struggles and Matt Boldy's underwhelming performance created offensive challenges for Minnesota. Despite the disappointing outcome, there's no need to be overly concerned about Kaprizov's abilities. His past playoff performance proves that he can shine in the postseason, exemplified by his 7-goal performance in 6 games during the first round against the St. Louis Blues in the previous year. In addition, Kaprizov had been dealing with an injury causing him to miss a significant portion of the regular season's final month. This injury might have affected his form, as evident by moments of pain and change in his typically elite edge work, which is a crucial aspect of his dynamic playing style. The defensive abilities of Miro Heiskanen and Jake Oettinger also played a role in limiting Kaprizov's impact on the series. Looking at the broader perspective, Kaprizov's disappointing playoff display underscored the lack of high-end forwards within the Wild's roster. Beyond Kaprizov and Boldy, the team lacks offensive talent, particularly after the Kevin Fiala trade. Bo Horvat, the New York Islanders. The Islanders made a significant move by acquiring Bo Horvat and subsequently signing him to a massive contract extension, boasting an $8.5 million cap hit. The reason behind this move was their urgent need for another top-tier goal scorer, and Horvat, who had scored 31 goals in 49 games with Vancouver before the trade, appeared to be a promising candidate to fulfill that role. Initially, the pairing of Matthew Barzal and Horvat on the top line showed great promise. Their combination as a passer-shooter duo led to impressive results, particularly evident in the team's power play, which saw a remarkable 6-for-17 stretch following Horvat's arrival. However, this positive momentum took a nosedive when Barzal suffered an injury. In the final 19 regular season games, Horvat's performance declined significantly, recording only 2 goals and 8 points. The return of Barzal for the playoffs gave hope that the duo could reignite their chemistry on both even strength and power play situations, but unfortunately, that never materialized. criticized. During the playoffs, playing alongside Barzal and Anders Lee on the first line, Horvat managed to score only 2 points in 6 games, with his sole goal coming in a Game 4 loss when the outcome was already determined. The Islanders' power play continued to struggle, converting on a disappointing 5.6% of its opportunities, despite the high expectations of Horvat making a difference due to his strong power play history in Vancouver. Although Horvat demonstrated strong two-way abilities, he was ultimately acquired to be a pivotal goal scorer in crucial moments, a role he could not fulfill during this past postseason. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, the Edmonton Oilers. For a considerable period, the Oilers faced criticism for relying heavily on just 2 offensive stars, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. However, over the last couple of years, and particularly during this past regular season, it appeared that the narrative was changing. The team received significant contributions from other players to diversify their offensive power. Zach Hyman achieved a career high with 36 goals and 83 points. Evander Kane added 16 goals and 28 points in 41 games played, and in the previous playoffs, he excelled with 13 goals in 16 games. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins emerged as a force, racking up 104 points and finishing 9th in league scoring. Though Kyler Yamamoto's season wasn't perfect, he still managed to score 20 goals last year. The addition of such secondary scoring in the top 6 seemed to alleviate some pressure from McDavid and Draisaitl, which was evident during the regular season as they led the NHL in goals scored. However, when it came to the playoffs, none of these 4 players contributed enough, and Nugent-Hopkins in particular stands out as one of the biggest disappointments. Despite registering points on the power play, he struggled during 5-on-5 play, managing just 1 goal and 1 assist throughout the playoffs. Furthermore, Nugent-Hopkins encountered difficulties in driving two-way results, displaying some of the poorest underlying statistics among the Oilers forwards. During his 5-on-5 shifts in the postseason, the team was outscored 8-3, highlighting his challenges on both ends of the ice. Vitek Vanacek, the New Jersey Devils. Heading into the season, the New Jersey Devils were in need of competent goaltending and nothing more. With a strong and deep defensive lineup capable of driving results in both offensive and defensive zones, along with a dynamic young forward core that excelled in offensive dominance, the team was usually adept in controlling possession, territory, and generating scoring opportunities against their opponents. In the regular season, Vitek Vanacek provided the solid goaltending they required. However, concerns arose due to his lack of a promising playoff track record, and these worries will extend beyond this year. Vanacek struggled in the first few playoff games against the Rangers, conceding many goals. This led to Akira Schmidt taking over and becoming the hero of the first round. Notably, the team performed much better in front of Schmidt than they did in front of Vanacek, suggesting that the goalie switch was one of the catalysts in turning this series around. Nonetheless, when Schmidt faltered early in round 2 against the Hurricanes, Vanacek couldn't step up to provide reliable play. Throughout the series, the 27-year-old looked shaky, ultimately allowing 5 goals on 17 shots in Game 5, leading to their elimination. Overall, Vanacek struggled with an unimpressive .825 save percentage across 7 playoff appearances, conceding 8.1 goals more than expected, making it the worst performance among any goaltender in this past postseason. The Toronto Maple Leafs Core 4. Now, this topic has been extensively discussed and analyzed. We are well aware of this story. In the first round, Toronto's star players finally stepped up and delivered strong performances. It seemed like their past playoff failures were a thing of the past, but unfortunately, all that hope went out the window against the Florida Panthers. In their last 7 consecutive playoff games, Toronto failed to score more than 2 goals. Surprisingly, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, and John Tavares, who collectively account for $33.5 million against the salary cap, only managed to score 1 goal in 5 games against Florida. However, it would be unjust to include William Nylander in the discussion about Toronto's underperforming playoff players for several reasons. Nylander has been quite productive in the postseason, scoring 12 goals and 25 points in 25 games over the last 3 playoff runs. His performances are consistent, and he doesn't just pile up points early in the series and then slows down like we've seen other players do. Among the core 4 players for Toronto, Nylander was the only one with more than 1 goal against Florida. Although they needed more from him in games 1 and 2, anyone who watched game 2 witnessed his dominance and some unfortunate bad luck offensively. While Nylander may still be seen as the odd man out among the core players due to the substantial raise he is set to receive at the end of next season, he shouldn't face nearly the same level of criticism as Marner, Matthews, and Tavares, as they were easily the most disappointing out of the bunch. Thanks for watching our videos. Don't forget to leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button.